So we are into the journey of the self-inquiry. Self-inquiry means that we inquire who we are. Who we are, we already have an information that we are the real self of the nature of peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. But mind contradicts this every day, in every thought, in every speech, in every action, in my lifestyle. Why it contradicts? Because of the impurity of the mind. What is the impurity of the mind? Wrong notions. We problem of the mind is that it falsifies what it is, and it accepts what it likes and dislikes. Then I live with my commander in chief, my ego, and it prevents the awakening. Once the master was asked, can we get freedom without self knowledge? Master says yes. If you can roll out the entire sky like a carpet, you can get the knowledge. You can you can get the freedom without self knowledge. He made the statement out of the joke. Can you roll the entire sky like a carpet? Answer is no. So you cannot realize the real self without the self knowledge. No joy is greater than listening and learning the Eastern wisdom. Do you feel that? Does your heart feels that? I'm not teaching anything. I don't know anything. I'm just teaching. I'm passing on that knowledge. No joy is greater than listening and learning the Eastern wisdom, provided one is ready, one is sincere, one is committed. So you listen and learn, you contemplate and reflect, your suffering goes too far from you. It purifies the mind. Purified state of the mind alone can reveal the real self. No, I'm hearing you. No, hearing is not listening. Again, because Vaibhav sent me this, so my mind goes back to this difference between the hearing and the listening. My master always used to say, hearing is casual, listening means we are allowing the knowledge to settle in the intellect. Prepare the knowledge, we prepare the mind to move inside my heart. Unless there is a hunger for the listening about who am I, then the teacher dwells on the same. If it is not there, then the teacher goes back and it dwells on the same topic again and again. It's a group session. So that's why I seek your experiences. You share your experiences, it helps me where I have to go. Nothing is structured, everything is unstructured. Ego demands a structure. You don't know. You're going to your workplace, you say, I will reach by 9. You don't know whether you will reach or not. Yeah, it's good to prepare it, make a planning. So, listening and hearing are two different things. That's why I have been pleading that it is better to listen again and prepare a summary. And once you feel that this is what I have understood, if you send it, and we will share amongst one another, it will help us. So we will go on a fast track. We started this journey of the self-inquiry. I give a specific topic. Almost today's what it about? Yeah, it is the 18th session of self-inquiry. So if you look back, we understood that the impurities are desires for seeking happiness. Desire for physical necessity and the need is not the impurity. I'm hungry. I must need food. I need a cloth. A minimum social and the professional needs must be met so that I continue working. So we started with the understanding the impurities of the mind. Then we said even if we are doing good actions in our life, it is not sufficient in the journey of the self-discovery. No, I've been very kind. I've been tolerating you for so many days, listening to you, but nothing is happening. So there is some problem in the mind. That's why you are tolerating. That's what we say. I tolerated enough. Huh? My honey, and now enough is enough. No, it is because of the ego. So good action is not enough. I have to understand why I'm tolerating. So without practice, purification is fruitless. Purification does not take place in the mind. What is the conclusion? The purity is absolutely essential. That is what we discussed in the previous. I'm just briefly going through. Then what is the best method of purification of the mind? The best method of purification of the mind is the self-inquiry. In the Gita, Krishna says the greatest method of purification of the mind is the self-inquiry. It begins with the listening. I made it very clear how the listening is different from hearing. My heart is open. It accepts with the humility, with the knowledge. It wants to experiment with it. It wants to try if it works or not. I'm not open. I have understood everything. So you are building another part of your ego. That is not going to help us at all. So before the self-inquiry, we invoke the blessing. That is what is known as the auspiciousness. Another meaning of the auspiciousness is that where I am born, with whatever the parents we have in the country, in the city, in the situation and condition, I have a total acceptance. When I have a total acceptance, from that acceptance I want to evolve. So that auspiciousness, that blessing and the grace of the existence is always there with us. We start comparing. I know you have the money, you have house and everything, that's why you are saying this. So I have started comparing. I created a duality in my mind. I created a likes and dislikes. It will not work. Do whatever you want to do, it will not work. Then what are the impurities of the mind? We discussed where to find them. We discussed, and at the same time we also discussed what exactly it means the wise and what it means by the wise fool. And then we challenged our mind, are we worthy of suffering? So when you do the self-inquiry, you recognize that I'm not worthy of suffering at all. But still, my past habits and experiences, my behavior and attitude, my responses to the people at my home, in the world outside, is still triggering my mind constantly every day and causes the stress and the suffering in my life. So then this master, I told you the story of Narada, who also went into the same grief and the stress and the suffering. And the same Narada became the one of the great masters. So we are learning, thanks God, that Narada guided another great seeker. And so we are learning how he guided the seeker to reach to the ultimate state. And then we have been covering the four root weaknesses, four roots of the sorrow, the desire and the fear and the repeat desire, the greed. So these are the four root weaknesses we have been covering. I've been repeating again, understand that, think of it, what is the end of the suffering and the discovery of the permanent happiness? So if the answer, that is what Master says, nirvana, kaivalya, awakening. But I have to go deeper into it. What is this awakening? And the answer comes, it is the self-knowledge. So then ask yourself, what is this self-knowledge? Do I know myself? Ego says, I know myself. I am rich, I am 6 feet tall. Huh? Nature put me on the growth, so that's why I am 6 foot. And I added, that is a vertical growth, yeah? And I grew horizontally because of my mistakes. So because of my lifestyle. Horizontally means my belly is I increase the fat. Nobody is fat, so nobody will feel bad. So you see that. So are you we have to understand listening and learning. Four root weaknesses we understood: desire, hesitation, and trigger. We are almost agitated. It has become a new normal to us. That is why the modern science says it is an age of anxiety. What do you mean by age of anxiety? Does the time give you an anxiety and stress? They have a different way of understanding. So it is because of four root weaknesses: desire for seeking happiness from the others. From the day when I got married, I have a desire for seeking happiness from you. So that puts my mind into an hesitation mode. It is constantly watching others. Oh, you did this, you did not do this, today you did this, and today you did. Mind is in hesitation mode. Who is responsible? I. No, you are responsible for it. So that causes a lot of triggers. And that trigger causes you the extreme fatigue and the tiredness, anxiety, duality, conflict. Think of it. I told you, difference between the hearing and listening. After listening, if you do not contemplate, you will not find it. The ego will take over. Hearing is casual listening. So these four root weaknesses we have understood, including the fear in the last session. So now it says there are four inner instruments that causes lot of challenges. What challenges it cause? Grief. Grief includes all kinds of stress, anxiety, suffering, pain, reaction, anger. You add there. Grief and the delusion, these are the two set of problems, and they can only be overcome by the self-knowledge. Self-knowledge. And then there is another problem of hypocrisy. What my mind is thinking, what I am doing, there is a big difference between the two. And then we do the injury to ourselves every day. I am totally upset because of you. I'm totally upset. I don't understand why you do like this. Do you see your face when you are blaming others? Do you see your face? We don't become aware. We lose that awareness. It is because, again, of the commander-in-chief. Think of this. You did something wrong. Do I have a right to be angry? We normally say, I have a right to be angry. So it means I want to destroy myself because you did something wrong. We do it 99% of the time. And that causes lot of challenges in our life. I have blamed you today, and I have been repeating that blame for a couple of days. Now my mind has created a pattern of blaming others. In the workplace, in my home, with my parents, with my siblings, and then my life goes with the blame and complaint. I don't realize it is the problem with the mind. Just think of it. Masters never says you believe what they say. Master says you listen, learn, contemplate, and reflect. So take these are four root weaknesses. We injure ourselves mentally and emotionally. That is one. We have a idea of hypocrisy in the mind that is constantly working. Third is the grief, and fourth is the delusion. Unless we remove them by self-inquiry. So grief and the delusion should be overcome by the self-knowledge. Hypocrisy can be removed by creating, developing a giving nature of the mind. You are angry, let me give you a space. Let me remain silent. Or find out the response where you are not reacting. So that is the meaning. Hypocrisy can be removed by service, by contributing, by moving in life with the clarity. You may have certain ideas, understanding, image you have created about the near and the dear ones. Can you accept them? You are serving when you are silent. You are serving when you are moving with response, not a reaction. You are still moving with the love because you are close to me. I care you and I love you. That is also a giving nature. Otherwise, mind will not be purified. So instead of becoming a consumer of others' anger and agitation, I become a contributor, serving you, serving others, serving the society in order to change my mind. Goal is the same. Goal remains the same. I have to purify the mind. Be very clear. I am very selfish. You say that I am very selfish. That's why I did not react. You say that and see your state of the mind. You are so happy. You are full of the joy. And you react and then check the state of your mind. After reaction, your mind has millions of the thoughts that goes against that person. Have you realized something? It is so simple. We all have experienced that. The hypocrisy can be removed. The master is using the word service, contributing, moving in life with the clarity that this guy is agitated, this guy is angry, or any person at my home is angry, or agitated, or reacting, or blaming. What is the best way to respond? Depending on the situation, depending on the temperament of a person, I can withdraw myself, I can remain calm, but my ego says, how you can remain calm? This guy is wrong. So once you say this guy is wrong, you have millions of the thoughts for blaming, complaining, reacting. It is not going to help us. Find out. If it helps us, it's okay. Understand what exactly is the hypocrisy. Even though it is, it lives in the ego. It lives in the ego, but it is different from the ego. And this hypocrisy is different from the pride or arrogance. It is different from pride and arrogance. One is proud or arrogant of what one possesses. What one possesses. But hypocrisy is a source of pride in which one pretends to possess. I'm calm, you're blaming. I'm calm, you're blaming. Don't you see that I'm calm and you are blaming me? Did you understand the hypocrisy? I'm already agitated inside. And I'm pretending that I'm calm. That will not work. So the hypocrisy is a source of the pride, or you can say arrogance, in what one pretends to possess but I don't possess. And it stems from the fear of not appearing as one would like to appear. It has a falsehood as its basis, and the falsehood comes from the impurity of the mind. You see the root source. And we want to have a spiritual awakening, not possible. Mike sent me an email a couple of months before I told you. So, did you buy any other house? I said, I'm homeless, jobless, and knowledgeless. So he responded me, I have 4 and 5 houses in around Scottsdale and Paradise Valley, but I am also homeless, jobless, and knowledgeless like you. I said, very. I said, we both are the same person. I responded immediately. Thanks, God. So I live in fool's paradise. What should I do then? After realizing he has started the sessions, I told him again. I said, did you remember that I sent you this? Oh, I said, I became a hypocrite. He recognized it. So when you recognize this, you get rid of that impurity. I don't know. At present, he is evolving very fast. He said, why did not you tell me? I said, you should have blasted on me. So we go naturally. Whatever you say, we accept it. And from there, we want to make you aware. So we are talking of this hypocrisy when I'm not saying that you do everything, you spare money, you give the food, but mentally and emotionally, your attitude must change to a giving nature. Internally, you feel that. In what way I can make you emotionally and mentally happy? In what way I should think and speak to you? You are doing a greater service to yourself and you are doing a greater service to the others. We'll talk about the compassion later. So, what happens? Your mind that is filled with the impurities changes its attitude from being a consumer to a contributor. The hypocrisy disappears. You recognize the fault and the falsehood that I have in my mind. I need to change it. you become humble. And the beauty of being sincere in the humility is par excellence. So we'll talk in detail that how the Eastern wisdom says how to overcome this hypocrisy. We are asked to serve the teachers, we are asked to serve the society. In all religion, Jesus has a missionary zeal to serve people. So that idea came from the Eastern wisdom to almost all the religions. But we are not learning any religion. Another way to deal with this, overcome the hypocrisy, find out minimum half an hour you do nothing. You go into solitude wherever you are. It does not mean that you go into Himalayas and go into Colorado forest and there I will go for a retreat. There is a more problem in the retreat. Oh, this is a new guy, let me introduce myself. The mind is still working in the same way. So spend minimum half an hour in solitude means nothing belongs to me. Say goodbye. Not the house, not my siblings, not my honey, no one. Close the door and sit completely with eyes open or closed. Doesn't make a difference. The moment any thought pertaining to the world comes, drive it away. I want to be just alone. What will happen if you do it for a couple of weeks? The mind will surface all your weaknesses and the impurities before you. Just living in solitude. Solitude does not mean that you create a solitude by a location, by a specific time. I will go to solitude after a week. I have already booked my flight for a retreat. It will not work. Live by yourself. There is no one else. That is the solution offered by Narada. Then there are other problems. I will take up the grief and the delusion in the next session. But here, then there are many obstacles on this journey. So I told you silence, solitude, silence, solitude. Just do nothing for half an hour. Mind says no. This guy your mind is blaming this guy. No, you leave this. No, I'm not interested. Tell your mind consciously, I'm not interested. So what will happen after a couple of weeks? You know what exactly is the solitude, what exactly is the silence. Then what happens? You are in a mall with thousands of the people and still you are alone. You know how to separate yourself from the entire world. And that will drop the hypocrisy. That silence, that solitude forces the mental energy to turn within. The inner strength that we gain by the practice can be used to overcome the grief and the delusion. We don't have the mental energy. Mental energy is just sitting and leaving all dislikes and likes. Just sitting means you do not ask the body to act in any way, even for 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the beginning. Then watching the mind. When likes and dislikes comes, let them come and go. Then you can recognize in that silence that you allow the likes and dislikes to go. That is why being comfortable has been a main beginner step. So that you can recognize that moment of solitude. When you close your eyes and you start the meditation, do you actually recognize that now I'm into the solitude? Or do you have in mind how many people are attending Oh, that might be the person, I like that person. Still, we have those thinking. If we are not comfortable in the beginning, we remain disturbed in meditation. So solitude and the silence go together. And you increase the duration of solitude and the silence every day, and you reach to half an hour, you can separate whatever is happening in the world will not cause you any sorrow at all. But to go into the solitude, even at your home, requires a great willpower. And practice of solitude and the silence increases one's willpower. Think of it, my friends. Let us start. Close your eyes. We will continue our journey with other two eyes are closed, and you're comfortable. Now you see, now can you relate it to the last part of the discussion? We had solitude, being comfortable. That's why I'm not using the two steps. We have enough time. So you are just adjust and align your body, and you experience the sense of comfort. Mind is moving within as if it is looking within. You're comfortable, and you're comfortable, and so in that state, mind is looking within. That is the right moment to create an auspiciousness. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. When you are reciting the mantra inside, also check in the change in the mental attitude. Your mind becomes more and more soft and gentle while chanting, or it is simply intellectually doing it. Do you see the change in the attitude in yourself? That is very much needed, demanded. Let everyone be happy, and your mind, your intellect is filled with that awareness. Happiness is my essential nature. Everyone is seeking happiness. Hence, I have to keep my awareness on the happiness instead of the grief and the struggle that the mind is creating. It is because of the impurities of the mind. So mind is 100% clear. Clarity is there. And that clarity comes, my friends, by constant listening and learning. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Let there be peace for all. Same thing. Can you contemplate and reflect with the clarity? So that is the art of listening and allowing this knowledge to go into the mind. Instantly, the bubble enters into the mind the moment you listen the mantra. Is essential nature within me. I have to recognize and realize. Same with everyone. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Let there be completeness. Or you can rephrase that, let me discover in me the completeness, that holiness. You see that you have found it in all the religions, directly or indirectly. So we are already complete in ourselves. Mind does not say, mind refuses this. Why it refuses? We know the reason, because of the impurity of the mind. But what happens when I live into the sense of incompleteness? I have to make an effort to be complete. Effort in a direction of desire that I have in my mind. One has a desire to get married to be whole. Other has a desire to earn $1 million to be whole. Like this. So any desire that distracts and moves my mind outside gives me a sense of incompleteness, and out of that incompleteness, that we have a fear, we have an anxiety, we have a duality, we have a conflict in our mind. I'm of the nature of completeness, yes. The whole, yes. What is that whole? Is the real self. You see how masters laid out the foundation. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Let there be auspiciousness. So when there is not a total acceptance, then the hypocrisy comes. Whatever the situation I am in, parents I have, the siblings I have, the society in which I live in, the friends I have no way to change them. So there is a total acceptance. And that is a field I was given by an opportunity to evolve, to rise in awareness, and to realize my real self. So everything becomes an auspicious. That idea that knowledge is settled in the mind will continue to purify the mind. You look deep inside the forehead in the space, pick a point in the space, you drop Om Shanti there, and I have already explained in the previous sessions about the pause. Pause, you're not giving a pause, but there is already a pause. How come you say that there is already a pause? You are saying Om Shanti 1 and Om Shanti 2. Because of the pause, you cannot say there are two Om Shanti. So it is very natural and casual. So one compartment of the mind moves casually and naturally with awareness, and other part of the mind says, let us start breathing quick and short breath into the rib cage. There is an expansion and contraction of the rib cage. You already understood that we recognize the obstacle and the resistance of the mind not to do, to stop it, to change the breath. They are resistances. You simply recognize in return to the ribcage, breathing with Om Shanti in the state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness of the body. My friends, please. Continue. You are aware of expansion in the contraction of the rib cage, aware of the Om Shanti, aware of the point in the space, aware of the comfort and steadiness in the body. Is a perfect condition to purify the mind. Any objection by the mind is an impurity. Continue. And stop this, recognize. I told you. So I'm repeating the same phrases. Recognize, accept the changes, the experiences you have, but remain detached with those experiences. So remain detached with even the resistance. You simply recognize. You recognize, oh, today I was not doing my breath rate change. So after recognition, the next time when you repeat it, you should not have these resistance. So what recognition helps you to work with your willpower. We'll also explain what is the willpower. Each and every aspect we have to understand in the journey of the self-inquiry, looking again inside the forehead at a point, doing Om Shanti, and then start breathing from the belly. It's a little longer breath. Make sure you expand your belly and contract your belly. There is a minimum expansion of the rib cage. It moves, obviously. And Om Shanti continues. It's a longer breath. You hear the noise of the breath, and you also recognize the changes that is taking place and also the resistance. So we are aware of the subtler nature of the mind, how it triggers anxiety and duality in our day to day life. And stop this. So you are simply aware. In what you do in the field of awareness, you recognize resistance, the changes, the experiences that is taking place now. To learn, you learn from your experiences. You see that I'm not doing anything. You are doing everything. What happens, it also creates a willpower that how to deal with reactions and duality and now is the time. Look again deep inside the forehead. Continue with Om Shanti and start breathing from both the belly and the rib cage. It is long and deep breath. And see if you are not able to do with equal inhalation and exhalation. That is a very subtle nature of the impurity of the mind. That is why we are continuing with this breathing step. And stop this, do nothing, experience the changes, recognize the resistance. You have recognized the resistance that happened in the past a few minutes before, so you accept, you recognize. A cognitive ability is required without any likes or dislikes. Now look deep inside the cave of your heart, visualize the triangle of any color, equilateral triangle pointing upward. You see, I'm triggering your mind. Equilateral triangle of any color means that you have to have a contrast in the background. Now move the mind on the side of a triangle, dropping Om Shanti, moving the mind in a clockwise and anti-clockwise. When you find there is a sync, I have to change the step also gradually. And the moment you find it's the perfect sync of awareness of the side, dropping Om Shanti and the movement of the mind, that is the right time to sing Om, pushing the mind inside the center of a triangle in the cave of your heart, Shanti, self-absorption. Enjoy that state. But if the mind returns with some thought disturbs, again go back to the triangle. It's a very subtler, higher level of awareness. And stop this now, the japa. I have been laying importance. Mind's eye, mind's ear, mind's tongue, mind's touch is dropping Om Shanti on the 16 segments of the fingers. I want to blow your mind. This step and the previous step are perfectly similar. From outside, it appears different. In both the steps, the self-absorption takes place. Approach is different. I'm making a very big statement. The mind is natural, it doesn't allow the sense organ to perceive the object differently in the world, but the senses merges into the mind. What it means, self-absorption. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. The palms know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. And if you have any question, how are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you, sir. My mind was, the wheels in the mind were very, very, very active coming into it. And it took me a while to get really sort of focused. But what the real observation was, that triangle was, I don't know that I've ever gone as deep as when we got into the triangle. And it stayed with me right through to the put your mind on the right hand kind of thing. So it was very, very transform or evolving, I guess.
Evolving, yes, yes. You see that in the beginning you had a lot of the thoughts. We don't want the thoughts, but still they come. So we recognize it is because of our memories in the past. So they are known as the sanskaras or the vasanas, the old, and it takes time to remove them. But when we have a willpower, we continue the journey and it brings the same deeper result. Very good. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. The lesson took me to an experience. So the experiences, I think, are what gets rid of our impurities if we can reflect and learn from them.
Yeah.
And I had a really painful experience about 11 years ago, and I realized that it was my ego. My daughter left the house, and it was super painful. And really and I realized it right away. It's kind of like, well, I didn't think she should ever leave, right, as a youngster. And I was really bent on it, and I was embarrassed, and a lot of things came out of it. But then I realized, oh, it's my ego. And she hasn't gone anywhere. Like, she's still here.
Yeah.
And then it just takes me to that path of, there's several paths for all of us, and they lead to the same place, the wellness, the happiness, the peace. And so that's the wisdom. And I think through all of our relations, if we keep that, going back to that mantra, right,
Beautiful.
then we have acceptance.
Beautiful. This is going to happen to everyone. Our old memories will surface. We recognize and realize what was the mistake. As Jerry said, it was because of the ego. And because I recognize, I realize, that is the journey of the self-enquiry. And when I recognize, realize, and accept, it is gone. But if I don't recognize and realize it is because of this, then the memories keeps multiplying in the thoughts. Beautiful way that you said. How are you, Stephen?
Good, thank you. I don't recall any disruptions or thoughts or anything. The only thing that stood out during the meditation was I was extremely cold from start to finish.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, your experiences was deeper at the physical level. So these also happens. The mind makes the body, or you can say, we will discuss in detail, that it withdraws the prana from the body. So either we feel coolness or hot, warmth. But why it happens, we are going to cover that. Beautiful, Stephen. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. The mind was calm and absorbed, and it was bringing some images from the past, but again, I was separated and it was at peace.
Beautiful, beautiful. I have already sent what Vaibhav has written. So if those people who do not have an idea how to write this summary, so you, because the moment you write this summary, it will definitely help you a greater deal. You write for yourself and you share it. How are you, Samir?
Sir, I quickly went into meditation. It took no time.
No time.
As soon as you started, I was into deep meditation, and now I am realizing that slowly that peace always comes from. Means I used to think that I will get peace from outside. This will happen, that will happen, this thing should happen, I will get peace. But now I am realizing whatever is happening, that is a different story. But
Yes.
peace is always inside, and it helps me. Means as soon as I drop all means useless thinking and all that, it starts coming on its own.
Yes.
Means
Yes. Recognizing and realizing is another. That is the result of the self-inquiry, that peace and happiness are within. But I see a picture of you and your wife in the background. Peace is there.
looks for 2-3 years only. After that, it's normal life. In the beginning, it's very exciting. After that, now it's, this year it will be 25 years.
Oh, 25 years of the marriage. Very good marriage. How are you, Dennis?
I'm fine, Guruji. Thank you. The meditation was very deep and peaceful, and I would say extremely comfortable, if I can
That's
use
good.
this
Yeah.
expression.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was like I was at the right place at the right time, and there was no disturbance, and it was just very, very comfortable.
Yes, that's another beautiful explanation, that I'm extremely comfortable. Why I'm comfortable? The mind is not inviting any kind of an impurities of the past impressions. It's a beautiful. How are you, Barbara?
Very good, thank you. During the lesson, or maybe after the lesson today, I started to realize that the cause of a lot of my stress is the idea that I can control things, which of course has to do with ego.
Yes.
And I just kind of put the two things together.
Yes.
And obviously you can't control anything, and you just have to let it go.
What a beautiful way to put it. Ego, we don't recognize it. So recognizing and realizing inside is the way to get out of it. Well, let it go. And it goes in a flick of a second. It does not take any time. How are you, Sam?
Good, sir. Meditation was good. During the japa, I noticed something new. I felt a lot of energy running through my body, and had some twitching in my legs during it. Just curious what that is, but that's really it. That's the only change.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, we are progressing. How are you, Christina?
Thank you very much. I learned today through the use of the word willpower to be able to harness that, almost to utilize it, to let the thoughts go, and so they were just lightly in the background, instead of using willpower to control or seek external or get caught up in the thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. That's another way to explain beautifully that we will talk about the willpower in detail. That's a beauty. Oh, how are you, Terry?
I had where I was getting irritated because I couldn't see the triangle,
Okay,
and I kept, so even though I imagine it,
okay.
but I kept asking myself, why don't I see it? And I guess that I needed to have dispassion about that more, because if I don't, I don't. But and then so there was a lot of frustration.
Lot of frustration. And
Yeah.
why there is a frustration? One part of the I says, I am frustrated, I don't see the triangle. And it is the same I which says you are not seeing the triangle. So there is a struggle between these two thoughts. I have to get rid of it. And after all, when I say to visualize the triangle, you are it's all your imagination. Who doesn't
Yeah.
imagine? Who doesn't imagine the triangle? Be very clear.
Do we should we be coordinating our breath also?
If you
Because
do it, it's wonderful.
okay.
If you
Because
do
it's
it, it's wonderful. So what happened is these two thoughts coming from the same mind has created a problem. And the third part of the mind was thinking of a triangle. Triangle was already there. Because you are thinking about a triangle, so triangle is already there.
Well, I'm thinking about I'm thinking about my breath and what color and
That is that is what the impurity of the mind is. Understand. I think I believe everyone is understanding. It is the mind that creates the trouble. So when we recognize, I'm not able to visualize the triangle. Oh, this is the mind is saying, so let me, mind, thank you very much. I'm not able to visualize the triangle, but I'm already thinking of the triangle. It is what it is. Finished.
Okay.
How are you,
I don't do it perfectly.
Yes, how are you, Sangeeta?
सर अपना सिर में सेंसेशन होती है और बॉडी एकदम स्टिल थी और
Body was still, calm. Yes. Or?
मतलब बॉडी में बिल्कुल कोई सेंसेशन नहीं थी, पर सिर में हल्की हल्की सेंसेशन फील हुई.
She was feeling little sensation inside the head, but the entire body was totally free from all those sensations. That too is a definitely a deeper state. So that is all for today. Thank you very much. We will meet again.